Listen, Ariel, I'm not asking you how much ESPN pays you.
Welcome to MMA Live TV, and boy, do we have some lightweight UFC action. We gotta decipher it. There's a triangle that's forming, and we need to understand what's happening there. That little excerpt before was Ariel Helwani asking Dustin Porier about his pay and his salary. When is Ariel gonna learn? Those guys just don't want to talk about it. They get paid a lot of money. Decent amount of money, at least the top end of it. All right, so Ariel, let it go. Guys, before I begin, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, leave some comments below. Let's get the engagement. Let's get the conversations flowing. And my, do we have some really good clips to analyze, to have a look. We're going to look at Dustin Porier and Micheal Chandler today, which is, 2/3 of this lightweight triangle that's forming. And look, let's check out some clips right now.
Yeah, I told him, I said, I don't even love this anymore.
Yeah, you just got this massive win. Why say that? What prompted you to say that?
Because the whole week I felt that way, and it's been lots of fights that I felt that way. Just the process, I start to I just really don't enjoy the process. Everybody says you have to enjoy the process. I hate it. Only thing I like about mixed martial arts is the fight.
Look, that's interesting, and it's not so interesting at the same time because, Dustin Porier is, I wouldn't say at the end of his career, but he's not at the beginning of it. So he's at the tail end of his career where he's been there, done that. He's clearly a private guy. He doesn't necessarily like all the pompous and hoo-ah and all the social media and all that sort of stuff. So why is it interesting? I think it's really interesting because for me, at least from an outsider looking in, I think that what this means is he's really going to fight for himself. Obviously, all fighters fight for themselves, but I think this opens him up to more money fights and fights that are more for the highest leverage, as maybe opposed to, title sort of fights. Because in his mind, he believes that he has won the title. If Khabib is not there, he has won the title. Let's check out this next clip.
I believe I'm the world champion right now. If Khabib's not fighting, I'm the world champion.
And that's it. He believes he's the world champion. And how can you disagree with that? Spectacular performance against Conor. Maybe he shouldn't have been the big underdog that he kind of was, but he proved the doubters right. And if Khabib is not there, how can he not be the champion? I mean, there are some fighters there, but it just makes too much sense, right?
Why wasn't that one for the belt? Politics? We're chasing Khabib, or what's going on here? Why wasn't that one for the belt? I have no clue what direction they're going to move in. Obviously, Gaethje's coming off a loss too, so I don't know we have Chandler and there's Oliveira. I need to go look at the rankings to see exactly the order that we're in now.
He just seems frustrated. Our boy Dustin Porier seems a little bit frustrated. He mentions, Chandler. He mentions Oliveira, and those are the natural candidates. He mentions Gaethje coming off a loss. So maybe not the cleanest sort of execution, but definitely has a right to challenge that throne. Been impressive, but our boy Dustin doesn't seem like he's overly happy in terms of what he's seeing, and is definitely a bit confused in terms of what the direction kind of looks like. Let's check out the next clips.
And so speaking of what's next, here we are 9 days removed. Have they reached out to you or your management yet about what they might want to do with you next? They, of course, being the UFC.
No, I haven't heard anything from them.
Are you surprised?
Kinda.
Dana White, Sean Shelby. We couldn't give our boy Dustin, a call, a pat on the back. Hey, mate, good fight, good win against our cash guy, Conor McGregor. And here lies the problem with the UFC sometimes. There's just a lot of favorites going on here. Dustin doesn't like it. And clearly he's not a guy of, hanky-panky and nonsense. And it's coming across in this interview. It's really interesting, but I do feel that the UFC is trying to sort out some of the fights before they approach Dustin. But there's no doubt that McGregor has put in the media that he wants to fight Dustin. Dustin's obviously open for it. From a financial perspective, that's probably up there. But there's just a lot of questions to be asked in this division. Let's check out the next clip.
I know I'm number one. I think Gaethje might be number two.
Yes, and then it's Charles, and then it's Chandler.
Right. I just don't think There, it's happened in the UFC before, right? Somebody's come off of a loss fight and fought for the belt.
Plenty of times.
Right. So we'll see. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't want to.
You don't think they would do you versus Conor 3 for the belt? I could see them totally doing that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I'll sit by my phone, continue to do what I'm doing, and when they call, we'll figure it out.
You hear that, Dana? Dustin sitting by his phone. Holla at a brother. Look, it's interesting. I can't necessarily see Justin leapfrogging guys that have won, such as Chandler, and it's interesting to even talk about Chandler in this, right? And we're going to look at some clips in terms of Ariel having a chat with Chandler, and he's a really articulate guy. He's very polished and comes across that well, but I don't know. If I were a matchmaker, let's play this out. I don't want to see Conor and Dustin again. I don't. I definitely don't. So I think Dustin is that 1A. I think you just got to find 1B. So in my mind, Oliveira and Chandler just make sense. Figure it out. And where does that leave Gaethje? It's a bit of the odd man out, right? He's just fought Tony. Hooker? It's an odd one. A lot of these just don't quite balance out. Let's check out the next clip.
They're willing to put a title on the line with the Poirier or Conor fight. Obviously, that's all up to the UFC. But that fight's probably going to happen. I mean, you can't necessarily fault Dustin Poirier for taking the big time fight against Conor. But the problem with that is you're essentially conceding that you don't want to fight for the title next if they don't make that for the title, which I don't know if they will, but they probably won't.
Look, Chandler's role playing a scenario that can happen. It can absolutely happen that, McGregor and, Poirier have a third one. But for the title, it's just an odd one. It doesn't sit right. 1-1, yeah, you could sell it. The UFC has sold worse. Absolutely, you could sell it. But it just doesn't sit right. And I think, with Chandler coming in with all this pompous and hoo-ha and, that amazing debut against Hooker, he's rearing and he's ready to go. Let's check out some more clips, man.
I'll tell you what, things are working out perfectly. Stars are aligning right now with me and another man named Justin Gaethje, with both of us behind the wheel with our foot on their gas, with all gas, no brakes, headed towards a collision course inside of the UFC octagon.
Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje. Carnage. I like it. He's putting it out there, Chandler. And, say what you want about him. If you don't like his bravado, if you don't like his confidence, what I do like is a man that knows what he wants. And that would be a great fight. Amazing fight. And I think Chandler's just no nonsense, right? He's healthy. He really does rate his chances in this division. He wants to get to the apex, which is Khabib. So he probably, after that performance, if that didn't impress Khabib, he probably needs to kind of get there. But I love it. I love that fight. I just love the confidence that this man exudes. It'd be dynamite. I want to see it. I want to see Dana make this happen. Okay, let's check out more clips.
Did you happen to see Dustin's response when he was asked about potentially fighting you next? And if so, what did you make of it?
I did. It was a little disheartening, I mean, here's what I would say, and I say this in the most respectful way possible. This whole earning it thing, the kid hasn't earned it, Chandler hasn't earned it, Michael hasn't earned it. It's like, listen, man, yeah, I'm new to the UFC, but I'm not new to the sport. I'm going on 30 fights here in the next couple fights. I got 27 fights of hand-to-hand combat, mano-a-mano, one-on-one under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. Maybe it wasn't in an octagon. Maybe it wasn't in the same cage that you have fought in 20-something times, but I've done it.
Look, I saw this one, and I think, I can understand from both sides. I can understand from Poirier's side. You gotta know that this guy's been in the UFC for ages. His moniker's paid in full, and he's done it. He has paid the price, paid the cost to be the boss. And when you see a guy like Chandler come in, the shiny new toy, maybe the semi-preferential treatment, maybe sabotaging the fight against Tony. No, I'm just joking. I digress. I can see how Justin can see that, but Chandler makes a good point. I mean, he has fought. Obviously, there is a level difference between Bellator and the UFC. I think it's not that there's no surprise that he finished Hooker how he did, but that's got to count for something. And yeah, it's a tough one, but I see merits in both sides. And I definitely think that if we believe that he's not ready to challenge for the title, the Gaethje fight makes a lot of sense, or a title eliminator rather against Oliveira, Charlie Olives. All right, let's check the next clip.
I said yes to an opportunity. I had a phone call. It just said, hey, would you be willing to fight in the next couple weeks? And I said yes. There's a big pay-per-view coming up. I said yes to it. I knew didn't have any names being thrown around necessarily, but I knew that it would be somebody by process of elimination, somebody ranked ahead of me.
Mm-hmm. And is that happening?
So check this out. He's literally just fought a couple of weeks ago. You know, it didn't take any damage really. Emphatic victory, making his way up the totem pole, saying yes again to everyone. So he says yes to an opportunity, which it turns out, and obviously they didn't reveal it in the clip, was Charlie Olives. Charles do Bronx Oliveira, and that would have been a great fight. Great fight. Would have solved a lot of issues in my mind. The winner there takes Dustin for the undisputed title, but Oliveira feels otherwise. You know, in other interviews, Oliveira wants Dustin. So look, we've got a bit of a logjam here, guys. We've got an absolute logjam here, and it's really interesting, if not a bit confusing, as to what's going to happen here. Where does Gaethje fit in all this? And look, I think, there's clearly, you know, 5 guys. You have McGregor somewhere in there. I mean, you've got Nate Diaz as well that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is calling out. And just Diaz does not make any sense to me. Especially when, I think Chandler, a lot of people have said it. We want clarity. Dustin said it. They want clarity in the lightweight division. Please, guys, please. Give him to Conor. I think give Nate to Conor. It's a good fight. It sells. Let Conor tune up a little bit before he comes back into the tank with some of these guys. But look, I'm just as confused personally in terms of how I feel what the next steps should be. But all I know is this division is definitely popping. There are a lot of really strong fighters here. And, you know, just looking at the interviews and the clips, we can see that a lot of these guys are rearing to go. Everyone's in a different position. Anyway, guys, look, that's my synopsis out of all this hoo-ha. Again, subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Come on, give us a thumbs up. Leave some comments below, and we'll talk to you very soon.